actress with big potential. Then Brittany Murphy died young. Well, now a new HBO Max documentary is looking into the star's troubled final years.
It's your first look at the blockbuster documentary that reveals new chilling information about the mysterious death of actress Brittany Murphy.
I met this guy who's so totally amazing.
The former It Girl, known for the films Clueless, 8 Mile, and for dating Ashton Kutcher, died in her home at age 32.
Media and paparazzi surrounded the home that she shared with her husband, Simon Monjack.
I'm a happy type person. I smile a lot.
She's a Scorpio. What else do you need to know?
I'm a double Scorpio.
Double Scorpio.
She evidently collapsed.
Terrence Howard drops bombshell on what Diddy allegedly did to Brittany Murphy, the Pneumonia conspiracy. Y'all, grab a seat because this tea is boiling over and the steam is reaching Hollywood's darkest corners. Terrence Howard is not holding back anymore, and he just dropped a nuclear truth bomb that's shaking the entire industry to its core. We're talking about Brittany Murphy, y'all. Yes, her, and how her death might not have been the tragic accident we've all been led to believe. One word keeps popping up again and again in these cases: pneumonia. You mean to tell me everyone who pulls away from Diddy or threatens to expose something mysteriously dies from pneumonia? Nah. This isn't coincidence. This smells like cover-up.
To the latest Hollywood mystery, the husband of actress Brittany Murphy has been found dead just 5 months after her own passing. CBS News correspondent Michelle Miller has the details. Good morning.
Good morning, Harry. Well, some would say that Simon Monjack was best known simply for being married to Brittany Murphy. Now he has followed her into death in an eerily similar way.
It was a marriage between a fading young star and an unknown screenwriter with a checkered past. Now, just 5 months after Brittany Murphy's tragic death from pneumonia and drug intoxication, her husband, Simon Monjack, has also died. The 39-year-old was found unconscious Sunday night in the same Hollywood Hills home where Murphy had gone into cardiac arrest December 20th. Ironically, Brittany Murphy's mother, Sharon, discovered the bodies of both her daughter and her son-in-law. A neighbor described the scene the night Murphy died.
They were putting tubes in her throat and trying to resuscitate her with paddles. And then her husband was here just wandering around and in his pajama bottoms just looking.
Let's talk about Brittany's love life for a second, because this rabbit hole, it goes deep. Brittany was allegedly involved with Ashton Kutcher back when he was married to Demi Moore. Yeah, that messy. Ashton, scared of getting exposed, reportedly turned to who else? Diddy! Can you believe it? Ashton allegedly told Diddy everything, including how he was nervous the affair would blow up. Right after filming Just Married, Ashton introduces Brittany to Diddy, and according to insiders, that's when everything started.
Seen a case where a young wife dies, and 5 months later, a youngish husband dies, basically from the same underlying factors.
Not only the same underlying factors, but even the couple's final hours alive are eerily similar. The night Brittany died, she passed out twice.
Eventually, I got to the point where she had told her mother, Sharon, "Mommy, I'm dying. I'm going to die."
To me, that is alarming that a mother would ignore those requests for help, those cries for help from her own daughter.
I was around Ashton Kutcher and Diddy before, and they were speaking about Brittany Murphy. And I don't think I ever told this story, and I'm about to tell this story here. While he was married to Demi Moore, he was still sneaking around seeing Brittany Murphy. You understand? We were going to Nets game, so we picked him up, and he was explaining to Diddy that every time he goes to Brittany's house, paparazzi always catches him or almost catch him coming out her apartment or coming out the building. Diddy was telling him that's either the doorman or your security, you know what I'm saying? And he was still married to Demi Moore at the time. So you could have something, you could be right. Because it's crazy how they said her and Kim and some other individual with them around them all died of pneumonia and they were in perfect health.
It just gave me the shivers, that, because how can these two people be around the same people but die of the same death? Is it a case of the stories that are going to expose them off, they become a threat?
And the madness didn't stop there. Just 5 months later, her husband Simon mysteriously died of, you guessed it, the exact same symptoms. No deep dive, no autopsy flags, no mainstream outrage, nothing. But here's where it gets haunting. Those symptoms match the ones that Kim Porter died with too. And wait, there's more. Brittany's toxicology report, full of heavy metals and toxins. That's not just natural. That's a red flag. Her own father even publicly said he believed she was poisoned.
Passed away before Kim Porter's second autopsy report was finished. Ed Winters worked on people like Paul Walker, Tom Petty, Brittany Murphy, and Michael Jackson. And then I found out even something more crazy. So do you guys remember Harley Pasternak, the trainer that was CIA that Kanye talked about trying to off him and other celebrities like Aaron Carter?
Harley Pasternak followed me to the hotel. The nigga killed Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they won't clear the Backstreet Boys sample. You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak, Pusha, your trainer. Harley Pasternak, Jay-Z.
Harley Pasternak worked with Brittany Murphy before she passed away. Harley Pasternak claimed that Brittany Murphy's husband hired him to work with Brittany, but when she came into his gym, he was sure that she was under the influence of something. Yeah, right. And what makes everything even worse is the fact that Brittany Murphy dated Ashton Kutcher around the same time that he was best friends with Diddy. And it's been alleged for years that before Brittany Murphy passed away, she was getting ready to expose SA that was happening in Hollywood. And we know even though Ashton Kutcher was friends with Diddy, he worked at an organization for these SA child and women victims. That was up until 2023, until Ashton Kutcher decided to resign from Thorne because he sent a letter in support of Danny Masterson, basically discrediting all of his victims and saying how much of a great guy he was. So a man for years that sat on a board trying to help women and children, that was also friends with someone like Diddy, was dating Brittany Murphy, and she was allegedly getting ready to expose the industry in some things that she knew. And Harley Pasternak just so happened to be around her right before she passed away.
If Brittany was suffering from severe anemia like they said, then why wasn't she in a hospital? Severe anemia causes intense breathing problems. Nobody just suddenly dies from that without major signs. Brittany even told her own mother that she felt like she was dying, and yet no one called 911. Her mother didn't take her to the ER.
197 was the address of the emergency.
1895 Rising Glen Road.
What's the phone number you're calling from? Tell me exactly what happened.
Oh, somebody's passed out.
Somebody what?
My daughter's passed out. We're doing mouth to mouth. Please get here quick,
okay.
please.
Okay. All right, we're going to. How old is your daughter?
She's 30. Please hurry.
She's 30? Okay, she's with you now?
Yes, there's someone coming.
Yeah, ma'am. You don't have to yell. We're going to send somebody out there, okay? Is she awake?
Please, no.
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay, so somebody's doing mouth to mouth?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, did somebody see what happened?
No.
Okay, listen to me carefully. Is there a defibrillator available? Is there a defibrillator available?
Defibrillator, do we, honey? No.
Okay, listen to me carefully. We're on our way. I'm going to give you instructions. Are you right by her now?
Yes.
And let's not forget, everyone who dares to speak out against Diddy ends up in the worst kind of trouble. Celeb bodyguard Big Homie CeCe once said during a Piers Morgan interview that even he got threatened just for exposing the truth. So it's no coincidence Kim Porter and Brittany Murphy both died from pneumonia. This is something dark, something sinister.
Do you think that Diddy killed Kim Porter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him, because of the tape that she used to blackmail him into a relationship and into a raise of him being sodomized by Andre Harrell. And I am not saying that allegedly, because I heard her and Kim Noor talking about it in the booth of the bathroom while snorting at the Kit Kat Club.
Let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise as soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So, you know.
There were rumors.
I'm not saying.
Well, I was going to mention on this that there have been rumors circulating online that Diddy may have poisoned Jamie Foxx, which caused his 2023 hospitalization. In his Netflix show, he compared Combs to the devil in revealing his near-death experience after a brain bleed and stroke. He said, I say this all the time. I saw the tunnel. I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel. I thought, shit, have I gone to the wrong place? I looked up the end of the tunnel and I thought I saw the devil saying, come on.
Kim Porter was reportedly cleared by top doctors just a week before her death. You heard that right. Nothing alarming was found. So how in the world did she go from fully healthy to dead in under a week from pneumonia? Make it sense.
Your neck region, a small amount of blood was noted issuing from the right nair. A small amount of white frothy sputum was also noted issuing from the mouth. Oh, she had foam coming out of her mouth? What appeared to be a contusion was noted to the left upper arm. Multiple small red dots and what appeared to be a small contusion was noted to the right upper arm. What appeared to be small contusions were also noted to the bilateral posterior upper legs. Piercings were noted to the bilateral ears. Implants were noted to the bilateral breasts. A vertical line of discoloration was noted extending from the upper abdomen to the groin region. The back was unremarkable. No other scars, marks, or apparent signs of trauma were noted. Rigor was noted to be a 3 throughout the body. Lividity was fixed and appeared to be consistent with the decedent's position upon my arrival. Identification. Decedent was positively identified as Kimberly Antoinette Porter. Next of kin, they notified the son and other family members. Decedent was not married. I spoke with Detective Patike at the scene and he confirmed this information. Organ tissue procurement was not addressed with the family. And autopsy notification, it says no exam notification.
Terrence Howard has had enough. According to him, the people in power don't come for you in the open. They come from the shadows. They stalk you, poison you, ruin your name, and make sure you never step out of line again.
Before y'all talk about me, y'all need to talk to me. You see, once upon a time, if a man questioned another man's honor, he didn't do it from the shadows. He had to do it out in the open, with his name, his chest out, and his chin high. Not hiding behind a keyboard or tucked behind editing clips of fair use disclaimers. You see, citing Section 107 of the Copyright Act does not give you free rein to defame, misrepresent, or harm another's reputation. Fair use is not a shield for character assassination. So here's the simple truth. If you take my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations. Because in the old world, men didn't hide behind anything. When they spoke against someone, they had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths.
And let's not act like this is new. Hollywood is still doing the same couch-casting nonsense they did back in the Weinstein days. But it's even more dangerous now. Brittany Murphy's career, it was basically over after Sin City. After that, the roles dried up. She couldn't get cast, not because she wasn't talented, but allegedly because she refused to sleep her way to the top. She didn't play the game, and the game punished her.
Drugs, you're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, you know? Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, you know? But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Now, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card.
Terrence Howard himself revealed that he walked away from major roles just to protect his integrity. On the Patrick Bet-David podcast, he shared that he turned down massive gigs because of what went on behind closed doors. He even claimed that Diddy made moves on him, but Terrence wasn't about to sell his soul. Let that sink in. Terrence had the guts to say no. And in Hollywood, that's basically a death sentence for your career.
So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
And the investigations, they go nowhere because the moment something links back to Diddy, oops, the evidence is suddenly lost. Like the fingerprints taken from Kid Cudi's car that allegedly connected Diddy to arson. Destroyed, gone, just like that.
Adjourned today in this trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Today, the defense requested a mistrial following testimony from an LA arson investigator, but the judge denied the request. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Even now, in the federal trial against Diddy, his lawyers are screaming that the government is playing dirty. A mistrial was denied, but the defense claims the feds tried to plant ideas in the jury's heads. An investigator testified that Diddy's prints were lifted from Kid Cudi's home, but shocker, those prints were mysteriously destroyed.
Number 2 is saying that she was blackmailed with freak-off videos just like Cassie Ventura. And I've seen a lot of people wondering, are the freak-off tapes going to be played in court for the jury to see? And yes, they actually are. The government is still fighting right now to make sure that these freak-off tapes, when they're played in court, are only going to be for the jury's eyes. They dropped some very interesting information today about these tapes and saying that victim number 2 has proof that she was allegedly blackmailed with these freak-off tapes. In this motion, the government is asking the judge to make sure that people from the press are not able to be in this courtroom when these freak-off videos are played, because they are saying that they are blackmail and they are very explicit videos. Now, the government talked about how Cassie Ventura said that Diddy would record these videos on multiple different encounters and then tell her that he would release these tapes against her, and she found it humiliating and disgusting, and she wanted them deleted off the devices. Now, the government is saying Diddy victim number 2, who is going by the pseudonym of Jane, will provide a similar testimony to that of Cassie Ventura's, stating that she did not want to participate in the freak-offs and that she was terrified of anyone seeing the recordings of her engaging in these activities. And the government expects to offer text messages that Jane sent to the defendant's chief of staff on December 28th of 2023. And the chief of staff at the time would be Christina Korn, and she stated, "Diddy just threatened me about my tapes and that he has me on 2 phones. He said he would expose me and send them to another person." And then she proceeded to write another text message to Christina Korm. But right now this information is blacked out and it looks pretty long compared to the last text message that they reference. The government says that these text messages confirm James' views of the recordings of her encounters during the freak-offs with the same level of honor as Cassie Ventura. And they are alleging that the defendant used those recordings to blackmail both victims who were and remain terrified of the release of those.
The judge struck the whole thing from the record, told the jury to pretend it didn't exist. But the real kicker, a police officer testified that he saw a black Escalade fleeing the crime scene with plates registered to Diddy's own company, Bad Boy Productions. And Cardi's Porsche torched the year after. This is the first time in years that actual physical evidence has made it into court against Diddy. And guess what? The tapes, the blackmail, the freak-offs, they were still happening after the feds raided his Miami mansion. This was never over. It just went deeper underground.